Thank you so much for staying with the Monday Report Townhall session. This is where we're still talking about the bullying menace in school. Now, we look for solutions, and we still have a lot of views coming through on our Twitter handle at Trevor Mbija, at Citizen TV Kenya, at Wega Mwaura. Use the hashtag Monday Report. We have Jambuya Ruiru, who says bullying prepared us for the future. It made us tough. And we have Daniel Okwe, who says institutions should take charge and curb the vice. Some schools or institutions have zero tolerance to the vice, while others downplay it or even ignore it. Schools should take charge. That is where we're heading into right now in this session. We talk about solutions for the next half an hour. There's been a lot of boardroom speak. Now we talk to the people who've been affected and what they think are their solutions. By a show of hands, I'll start from here. Right. Stand, say your name, and give your solution really briefly.
Oh, yes. My name is Paul Kideka, a student from St. Paul's University. And here, as the solution, what I can say, we should come up with the reduction of power, whereby sometimes we do find that prefects have a lot of power, concentration of power. You find that they use that authority to bully other students. So the power of the prefects should be reduced.
Okay.
That's one solution.
Devolve power, he says. All right.
My name is Lenny Sikuku from the University of Nairobi. I think the solution to bullying, first we start with the parents. How the boys are raised at home, it will determine how they'll act in future when they start to mingle with the other boys. And when the boys are in school, it's the responsibility of the teachers to actually monitor them and see what they do, how they act around other students, and they should take action when they start misbehaving.
You do realize it's both boys and girls.
Yes,
it's actually at 50-50.
I've not heard in the audience, I've not heard of a girl saying the experience if they were bullied.
Were you bullied yourself?
Not physically bullied, but I used to wash the senior girls' clothes when I was in Form 1.
You don't think that was bullying?
That's bullying because I'm not watching school. I went there to study and to read for myself. And
okay. So you were also bullied in school.
So I was bullied. Yeah, I was bullied.
Did you bully someone else? Did someone wash your clothes?
Yes. Yes.
And did you report these instances to the school administration?
Actually, our school, our principal was very strict. When the Form 1s were joining, the seniors were given very strict rules that you're not supposed to bully these girls. But washing clothes, that's just normal. When you go to the dormitory, the teachers are not there, so we'll do it. So when I was in Form 4, I also had my boys.
Okay.
I also had a Form 1 who was washing my clothes. She was our daughter. We used to call them daughters.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was, it was bullying in some way.
And Dr. Oedim, I'd like you to talk about that, because now she's sort of almost normalized it. She said that everybody else used to clean clothes, so whenever somebody else, they come in, they also clean my clothes. Is that in itself a problem where we've normalized, institutionalized bullying?
Yes, I think, and that's why one of the solutions is defining what bullying is and making it very clear to everyone in society. Because when we normalize things, bullying can be going on and nobody realizes it's bullying. But the person being bullied is feeding it and has psychological and sometimes physical effects on them. So the schools need to be very careful, because this has been normalized. This getting a mother, a father, when you get to Form 1, and they are there telling you, you must buy me bread, and sometimes you even have to give them money, you clean their clothes and all this. That is bullying. And bullying doesn't have to be, what people imagine, aggressive and physical.
Yeah.
It can be verbal.
Okay.
It can be psychological. Okay. And sometimes people just talk about bullying when it is, overt. But there are so many forms of what we call covert bullying that takes place in schools.
All right. And Indimuli, she's talking about covert bullying. Does the school administration acknowledge this? For example, the cleaning that he's talking about. It's not physical, it actually is physical labor, but it's something that has been so institutionalized that it's almost normal.
Well, I wouldn't say that the institutions and schools do encourage it. The thinking behind the attachment of a new student, a Form 1 to a Form 2, is to help in the induction of that new child into the new community. It is not that the schools want that one now to become a servant for this one. But as I said, when somebody is given a certain responsibility, they end up misusing it. I have attached a student to him. Whatever he does behind the scenes may not reach me. But this new student believes that is the way things are done in the school. But it is not so, all right? So it is the assumed power that the student leaders and the senior students take. Yeah. But I can assure you, no principal would want to preside over a school where students are being molested. We have cardinal responsibility of taking care of the students. Okay. I just want to ask my head student here, because I know the year he has said it was 2015, 2016. Yes. Yeah, you attended the Student Leaders Conference. Yeah. I think in the same year, something happened in the school, and the principal took action. What happened to the prefect body? They all resigned, isn't it? Because action had been taken on one of their own for having molested another student. So the other prefect felt that that was wrong, the action taken by the school. That's just an example to tell you, as principals, we don't sit back. Okay. We have cardinal responsibility and we play our role. Okay.
Meshach, I'll give you a right of reply to that. Is it that school heads, you call them head of school like yourself, once you're put on the spot, you automatically sided with the prefects?
Okay, so with regards to what Mr. Ndimuli has said, it is true that there was an incident that happened, and at some point, the whole students' body, right, resigned. Okay, what really happens is, once a student leader is elected, they're not really given the memorandum of engagement towards the student, right? I'm elected as a student leader, but I'm not really told what my responsibility is. So, by title, yes, I'm a head of school, but what are my duties? What am I supposed to do with regards to how I engage the students and how I engage the teachers, right? So that also needs to be put in place in terms of what do the student leaders actually implement. They're basically people who are supposed to pass down policies from the administration, right? And act as a medium through which teachers can get to the students and students can get to the teachers, right? Yes.
So they move.
That is one way forward that we are talking about, and what Professor was saying, that we do not need to apportion blame. We need to say that, yes, there is a challenge here, and therefore all of us, the students themselves, the teachers, and the parents, we must come together and look at the solutions. Okay. And one of the solutions he has just given, we should make sure that they are able to understand what are their responsibilities, how do they act whenever they are faced with a certain challenge. Yeah. And that's one reason why Kenya Secondary School Heads Association holds the conference annually for student leaders. Okay. We also want to continue appealing to all our schools that after appointment or election of the student leaders, they must be taken through an induction. Okay. Because they are leaders, all right, but they are equally students who should equally be preparing for their academic work.
All right. You want to add to that?
Yes. So just to add on to what Mr. Ndimuli has said, there is a brood of good prefects and school student leaders, right? But as is the case in most cases, right, amongst that group of elected students, and just as you put it before, teachers were mandated at some point to elect prefects, right? But somewhere along the way, students were now enacted to now elect the prefects. But in some cases, you find students root for people who would actually enforce whatever it is that they like, right? Which in some cases really doesn't augur well with the school values and basically values.
When your time at 2015, 2016 at the Nairobi school, was it a situation of us versus them? On whose side were you on the administration side or the student side?
I was a school captain,
Yeah.
And all the students who were beneath me, let me put it that way, can attest, and they can even tweet it right now. I was against that. I was against manhandling, yes.
Okay.
And my prefects can also attest to that.
But it was reported to you that it was happening?
Yes.
Okay.
And we took action.
All right, we're looking for solutions. There's a lot of them. I think we'll go row by row so that we get really quick solutions. Start from here. Stand, say your name, and give a very brief solution to this before I come to Professor to give us the conclusions of his research and his recommendations as well. Let's go.
My name is Derek Omondi. Hello?
Yes.
And my solution is, we say that the student council should come up and go to the conference each and every year. What about we, the students? Are we going to undergo a certain training so that we know that bullying is against the law? Because the student council will come back and then tell us stories of how Nairobi was. Yes, I was in Nairobi during the conference. I went back to school. I tried to tell them, but they were talking about other things. Those who went there earlier, they were discussing of how Nairobi school was looking at. They were discussing the kind of food they were talking about, not about the solution of giving away bullying from schools.
So your solution is train the students as well. You wanted to say something as well? Yeah, stand and say your name and then let's go.
My name is Winnie, a student from the Catholic University. Okay, my solution is that I think there should be a good communication channel between the students, the prefects, and the teachers, because we find that lack of a good rapport between the three creates a room for fear. Students fear to report the issues of bullying to the teachers because maybe they fear the prefects because they might be punished later on. Okay. So I think there should be good communication. Thank you.
All right. I'll finish this first line, then I'll come to the second. Yeah, let's go. Very briefly. I'm
Okundi Julius from the University of Nairobi. I think the government should come up with some bodies to help to bring up a solution to this bullying. You find that there are some students, for instance, I heard of a case where a student is denied her marks by a lecturer because she has refused to do what the lecturer wants, or in other words, be in a relationship with the lecturer. But now the student does not have a place where she can present her claims. But if there can be a body where these cases can be presented, I think it can be better.
Okay. So far we're at 7. Yes. Name, brief solution, very fast.
I am Neston Joseph from Mount Kenya University, and I would like to give a solution to the Kesha chair. I think you will involve parents a lot because parents and teachers are parents in school. And during your meetings with parents, I would like you to be open with them and tell them there is bullying, even if they will take the children to other schools. But it will be very important because at some point these parents were also bullied, and they thought they viewed it as a rite of passage. So we are in a new era, and we ought to raise our children in the right manner.
Okay.
So they ought to know how to coordinate between teachers, parents, and students.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. Very brief, very brief. I'm trying to get as many solutions as I can. Yes.
I'm Omondi Franklin from the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. Actually, in my school, back in the days, the solution that we used to curb the menace of bullying was the policy of name and shame. Because once you are named in the school assembly and everywhere, everyone will know what you do, and the other students will be kind of afraid of you. So by that, you'll also be affected, and it was a solution.
Name and shame. Go.
Yes, thank you. I'm Munyendo Maxwell, a student leader at the Catholic University of South Africa. I think for us to bring to the end of this menace is there should be organized friendly fora between the administration, which includes the principals and the teachers, and also the students on the other hand. And it should be something that is on a regular basis, so that these students are given a friendly forum where they can freely express the issues they have, and necessary remedial action is taken by the concerned parties. Thank you.
Well noted. All right. Very brief, just one line.
Godfrey Ruto from Catholic University of South Africa. And I have a very brief solution to this.
Yeah.
Let's introduce and strengthen counseling departments in the schools.
Okay.
This to take care of those who bully and get bullied because of psychological issues.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Next. Really fast.
My name is Philip Agumba, student leader, Mount Kenya University. My recommendation is the schools should form anti-bullying clubs to fight this menace.
Okay. Anti-bullying clubs. Yep, let's go. Very fast.
Okay, hi, my name is Abdiaziz Hassan, a student.
Louder.
Hi, my name is Abdiaziz Hassan, a student leader at Mount Kenya University Nairobi campus.
Yes.
So like the best solution that can be, we break the link between the student and the administration. We break the link of the student leaders, that in the case of the publics, the secondary students, because at the end of the day, they'll feel much more safer in the forums to come to you directly and talk to you and tell you their problems. Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's go.
Hello,
just one line, yes.
My name is Maurice Njuguna from University of Nairobi. My solution to this is teachers and institutional leaders should create a more environmental friendly situations that can approach solutions to giving a better environment to anyone who is affected, the victims and the students themselves. Thank you.
Okay. Brilliant. Let's go.
My name is Wasike from Kenyatta University.
Sorry.
The suggestion I can put the solution to this bullying. I think the opportunities and powers given to student leaders should be reduced. According to how I know, student leaders are given more opportunities rather than these other students. So it is my opinion, or rather my suggestion, they should just be treated as other students and normally the way other students are treated.
All right.
Let them sleep where we sleep, let them eat what we eat, let them do what other students do. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm Lewis Gidaiga, Kenyatta University. So in my perspective, there is also what are the consequences of this bullying.
Yeah.
Some people are psychologically and mentally affected by this bullying, so they end up even thinking of suicide. So there should be solutions that should be implemented of how to do. So there should be counseling, like peer counseling, any psychological measures. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Next, Stan. Very brief.
Hi, I'm Sharon from Mass Media. For bullying, there should be laws and rules that govern the students, both the students and teachers, so that each and every person should at least express their grievances.
All right. You have a solution as well? Okay, next, let's go.
Good evening. My name is Konyango. I'm not a student. I was a student one time. I was bullied, and I made a personal commitment to end the menace by myself stopping it. At that point, I told my son, that is my school son, that once you are under my care, nobody will ever bully you. So the best thing, be the first person to end it at personal level.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go. Stand.
All right. Thank you. I'm Barry Frank from Multimedia University. And mine is just simple. Let us stop justifying bullying. Let us identify bullying from the smallest bullying activity.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
My name is John Mazige from Technical University of Mombasa. I'm a victim of bullying. My advice goes to the parents. Let parents create a personal relationship between the student, themselves, and the teachers.
Okay. All right. Stand.
My name is Ian Elroy Ouma, a Kenyatta University student. I am glad my school has been mentioned here. I'm a proud alumnus of Starry Boys, and I happen to be a captain in that school. I will say there were no issues of bullying because we had an open forum every Friday in the evening when the whole school will sit in the hall. We will discuss, the person will be called and answer such kind of any case of bullying that was mentioned or reported. Then the other issue again that we need to be check on about issues of bullying. Bullying, there's a lot of invisibility that is there in bullying, that we tend to just see the physical part of it.
There's bullying through coercion.
Okay.
There's also bullying, again, where somebody is financially stable than you. The person will manipulate you. So we find that we need to set a certain kind of level whereby everybody fits in society.
Okay.
Then again, we have a number of rules that we have in school. We have some schools up to 50 rules.
Okay.
I'm proud to say we only had 2 school rules.
One.
A Syrian respects authority, is dutiful, polite, and considerate of other people's feelings.
2.
He keeps himself clean and smart. The second school rule, anything contrary to decency, good manners, and common sense is contrary to the rules of the school. Thank you.
All right, so just 2 solid rules from Stare. Brilliant. All right, let's go.
My name is Beth Kimari, University of Nairobi. Most of the cases, it happened that most of the bullying comes from
Hold the mic closer to your mouth and then get to the point.
Comes from the prefects.
Yes.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely. I feel the power should be monitored. Thank you.
All right. You have a solution as well?
Yes, I
do
do
it
have.
really quick as we move on. Yes.
I'm Ezra Kibet, and the best thing I will say is to reduce powers that prefects are given.
All right.
And also make everyone feel part of the institution.
Brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, hi, my name is Mercy Keter from Kericho County. So for me, I think it doesn't start from school. So my view is if there is a way that parents can be encouraged so that when they have their own issues, they don't involve directly their kids, because it's studied that those kids who go bullying others, it starts from home. So the moment they see their parents fighting or doing whatever, they go and do that to other students, or in a way of maybe paying back or something. And again, when students join like high school, there is a way that they find that they believe it's a culture, like bullying is a culture, so they just do it. They don't know that it's bullying, but they do it because the rest does so.
Okay. All right, so parental guidance as well. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Durance Award from ZTech University. My point is that following the recent case, I think the government should put measures whereby such issues, like the one which just happened recently, should be followed strictly to be an example to other institutions.
Okay.
Also, sorry.
You want them to take action against any student who's found
by
guilty.
following the rules and regulations.
Yes.
And through this, they should follow there's Kenyan Constitution 2010.
Yeah.
That is Chapter 4, Part 2, Section 53, 1D. Should be strictly followed. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. You must have been in the crabbing school. Let's go. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Faith Msangi from ZTech University. Personally, I do believe that bullying has become a belief and a culture in Kenya. So I will urge the government to come up with the measures and ways through which they can advise the youths to strategically think and change their mindset about bullying.
So advise youth. All right. Yeah, let's get to the solution.
Okay, thank you. I want to say what worked for me and for the whole of our school. That at around Form 3, I was saved, and I was elected prefect in Form 4. And so I became a protector of all Form 1s. Like, I really protected them. I made a movement of protecting the young ones. So salvation is key. When you are saved, there's Holy Spirit living in you. And when that Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit cannot lead you to do a bad thing like to bully young ones.
Spiritual guidance.
Spiritual guidance. People, prefects must be elect prefects that are saved.
Okay.
They will finish
there
the
you
matters.
go. All right, very briefly.
My name is Dennis Sang from the University of Nairobi. I think the solution is that the head of the school together with the teachers should mingle freely with the students and to get the point of view from what they think.
Noted. Next.
I'm Lorraine from the University of Nairobi, and my solution to bullying is work on the guidance and counseling. They are always the ones who are bringing down, when students talk on their issues to the guidance and counseling, they end up discussing it. So I think so the guidance and counseling has a problem in schools.
So it ends up being a gossip session.
Yeah, it's become now a gossip where teachers discuss it, everyone knows it. So we don't have that confidence in the guidance and counseling.
All right. Let's go very briefly.
Okay, my name is Brian. My solution for bullying is that there should be anonymous communication channels, since when students report bullying, they are termed as snitches, so to avoid that.
Okay.
And parents should teach their kids to be good to other kids.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, next.
My name is Sevia Mulaku from the University of Nairobi. I believe bullying should be treated like crimes like murder, rape, and to moving forward, the bullying should be put like tough measures like arrest and expulsion from students from the schools. Should be the way to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, my name is Vincent from St. Paul's University. To me, I think we should work on improving the emotional quotient and the social quotient of students, and also to tell them the true definition of a leader.
Okay. Very briefly, straight to the point.
Yes, I said my name earlier. I would like to say freedom of expression should be given priority to ordinary students. What I'm trying to say is this. I was once bullied by a prefect through the deputy principal by then, because I didn't have freedom to express myself. The deputy was so harsh in a way, if at all the prefect goes there and complains anything about you, you will just go through a punishment. You cannot express anything about yourself. So I think ordinary students should be given freedom to express their grievances, and they should be listened unto. Thank you.
All right.
I'm Timothy. I think mimi niko na changamoto, si solution.
Okay.
Hii conversation yote, they haven't talked about snitches. You know, in high school there's this setting, like bullying is there but we can't say it because we tend to go mute. We think it's the system. So I think you as head of principals, you need to come up with a system with the fellow principals, a system that can go down and uncover these stories that are normally underground.
There was a suggestion about anonymous tipping to avoid the issue of snitches. Let's go.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Nudi, President Emeritus St. Paul's University. For me, I want to take a different dimension in the sense that I think we need to focus more on these bullies. Because if you look at the number of bullies vis-a-vis the number of people or students who are bullied, I believe the number is small. And for me, I believe that the bullies, there's something that is underlying and there is a void that needs to be filled. So for me, I think and I believe there are people who need help, and if we can come up with solutions to reduce the number of bullies, then I believe that we'll eradicate the bullies in schools.
All right. You have a solution? Next.
Okay. I'm Brian Collins from St. Paul's University. What I can say, also teachers are needed to be involved in these things. So if a student has done this mistake, and a student also, as in a student has done this mistake, but he or she can't get to that teacher. So we need to have teachers also be included in this bullying menace, so that they can involve students and also open this counseling where students can share their stories, and also they can be helped in dealing with these bullies.
Okay. All right, the final three.
Okay, Wayne Levy from KCA University. I think we have to agree that bullying in one way or the other has made us to be whom we are today, some of us. Because bullying, it's not only on students. We are taking it to be on student case. We have also bullying from teachers. We have teachers who bully students. We have disciplining, punishing, and bullying. We have teachers also who bully students. So to me, I think we should do away with the prefect thing and just have captains, school patrons, and the teacher on duty. They are enough to handle the school. Then the suggestion boxes should be made active in the schools.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you suggest trimming the leadership. Okay, let's go ahead.
Good evening. Adrian Kema, a student at the Kabete National
Hold
Polytechnic.
the mic closer to your mouth.
I'm a student at the Kabete National Polytechnic. I would love to second the statement about communication, since the students and the teachers need to have a communication system where the students can be free with their teachers, and adding to the conference, the student conference that happens yearly. I think there should be a staff training program where the teachers can be taught on how to deal with bullying issues in schools, making the students being more free with the teachers. That will lead into curbing bullying. Thank you.
All right. You have a final one over there? Let's go. Kindly stand.
Irene Mwende from University of Nairobi. For me, I think bullying starts from the society where the students come from. And he talked about Education Act. I think the Education Act should start from the society, because these students, when they are bullied maybe by their neighbors' kids, then when they get to school, they take that norm of that they have to revenge. So I think it should start from the society.
All right. Thank you very much. In this session alone, we've come up with 18 recommendations and solutions towards bullying. So they say there's no center of monopoly of knowledge. Professor, what were the recommendations you made after these findings as we come to a close?
I think we start from this premise that nobody wants bullying. The teachers don't want it, the parents don't want it, the society does not want it, the psychologists don't want it. Me as a psychiatrist, I think it's a terrible thing. We are not going into the consequences of bullying. I think the most important thing is what what you are doing. Getting the opinions of the most important stakeholders in issues of the bullying. They are the ones who are bullied, and they also bully as a result of being bullied. Get forums where you listen to pupils, and from the teachers and from the Minister of Education. If you don't go to all the very expensive meetings or exotic meetings. You need something no more than this, where you get people to talk about this. They have very important solutions. Then the next people to involve are the parents, because the parents really feel the pain of, just think of the boy who was injured at Nairobi school. And the parents, of course, don't want children to be bullied, and they don't want their children to be bullied. What are their opinions? And I think, and of course, the teachers. And I think once we all enter into this kind of dialogue, very serious dialogue, I can tell you, we will find a solution within 1 year.
All right.
And it is possible.
Thank you very much.
Dialogue and dialogue.
All right. Dr. Waidima?
Yes, I think most of the students have alluded to most of the solutions. But one of the key things is warm relationships. Because in a school system, I think the relationships and the power lines play a major role, where teachers don't see students and don't look at them with empathy. And I think, having been a teacher and having taught students, it is always good for the school system to come up with a way where teachers feel these are our children and these are people that I need to protect. And that way, you will find that the warm relationships, and like somebody alluded to confidentiality. I want to request the head of the head teachers, and probably the Ministry of Education. As psychologists, we have continuously said, you can't have a teacher who goes into the classroom to teach students and is the same one who is in the counseling room. There is dual relationship. And therefore, students don't feel free to confide in such a teacher. And therefore, we should have school counselors that are independent of the school system, and confidentiality is going to be kept. I would also say that there should be identification of the hot spots in schools for bullying. Sometimes the toilets, sometimes when a school has Form 1 dormitory and the others are in different places, some of the bullies sneak in. And finally, you will find that somebody said some people have what we would call innate tendencies in their personality to bullying. And therefore, if we had to empower and strengthen the counseling and psychology in schools, you would find that we can identify some of the children with conduct disorders, and as they grow up, those that might get antisocial personality disorder, and some of these are the people who become bullies in school.
Okay. Inimuli, you're the final say. You've heard from the people who've been bullied, they've also been bullies, they've given more than 20 recommendations now.
Thank you, and I want to thank them for the suggestions they have given. Some of them I want to say we have picked them up and we are working on them. What I would like to say, and I want to pick from the words of our Principal Secretary, Dr. Bello. He will always remind the teachers and principals that they are co-creators with God in creating the young children. While God did it by himself, the teacher needs to be supported. And he must be supported by the parents. The parents should be able to also observe their children. A child who is not able to share with others at home, this child will not share with others in school. And they are most likely going to be the ones who will be perpetrating bullying. So I want to say that we must support each other in this.
Okay.
Parents, teachers, and the students themselves.
Okay.
We also want to call upon the general society that some of the actions that we do impact negatively on the children.
Okay.
When they see us not even obeying traffic rules and we are driving on the wrong side, and they realize this is a leader in our society, they too will want to behave the same in a school.
Okay.
So it is a collective responsibility.
Yeah.
All of us must know we are impacting something on the young child.
Okay.
The moment we realize that as a society, then we will be able to kill this menace.
All right. Dr. Waithima, finally from you, if a parent is watching today, what are some of the signs they should look out for to know that their child is being bullied? How do they behave?
Okay.
Or the child is a bully?
For a child who is being bullied, a parent ought to understand the behavior of their child. So if there is any behavior change, somebody who was outgoing, they have now become withdrawn and quiet, that's a red flag. Somebody who was performing well in school and all of a sudden the grades have started declining, that again is a red flag for a parent. The eating habits, the sleeping habits, for the younger children in prep school and in kindergarten, some of them will start having nightmares and some of them start regressing. A child who had stopped wetting bed, they start wetting bed, or they start behaving, some infertile, behaving like a child.
Yeah.
So some of these are key things. Or a child who loved going to school, but now it's hard for them to wake up, or they start having stomach aches when it is time to go to school. So
that
all
is a red
these,
flag.
yes.
Okay.
And then also physical marks need to be checked, because some of the bullies will inflict physical marks, especially in terms of either cutting or pinching and all these types of things.
All right.
So a parent should look out for that.
All right.
And for the bully, I think the parent also need to find out what the child is doing.
Okay.
Because some of the bullies, they will look innocent, but a parent can notice when a child has had aggressive behavior.
Okay.
They'll become disrespectful to people, they'll be so aggressive, and therefore the parents need to look out for this.
Okay.
And sometimes the bullying also has something to do with money, because sometimes the bullies ask the bullied, the victim, to buy them things or to pay them for something. And those are things that children will get from parents, and sometimes children will either steal money or start asking for more money than the parent gives. So there are all these signs, and we always say behavior change in a child, the parent needs to know what is happening. For the teenagers, they may even start going into drugs and alcohol, a child that the parent thought that would not go into that.
All right. Thank you so much.
Depression. I also need to talk about the psychological issues. Depression comes in. And sometimes, we don't have time to talk about the criteria by which a parent may get depressed. I mean, look at a depressed child. Sometimes there's anxiety. All those things come in, and a parent who knows their child. And that's why, like we are saying, parents need to spend more time with their children and study their children. And when behavior change comes in, the parent, if there has been open communication and a good relationship, will be able to tell there is something happening with my child in school.
All right, thank you so much. We've also gone beyond the time. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. We want to thank you for that. Dr. Charity Waithima, clinical psychologist, head of department, counseling and psychology, African Nazarene University, Mr. Ndimuli Kahi, the chairperson, Kenya Secondary School Heads Association, and Professor David Detey, who's done extensive research on the issue of bullying from the University of Nairobi. Thank you so much for coming in. And most important, thank you to you for listening and texting and tweeting. There's so much that has come through. Let me try and read just maybe 4 of them. Manuel Blaze says schools should have a judicial kind of system which arrests suspects and tries them in their own courts. Ian Vincent says, first of all, vijana tuache miadarati. Then I believe parents play a major role in discipline of their children. Charity begins at home. If parents can cooperate with the teachers in discipline cases, I believe these cases will be unheard of. Munga says, standing up against bullies worked for me. I was tiny, and so people took advantage of me until one day I almost hit my school mom with a bucket. They learned to respect me after that. Brian David says a teacher training curriculum doesn't address this problem in school and at workplace. Train teachers on how to handle the bullies and skills counseling the victims as well. That is where we leave this conversation of how safe is your child. We've had 20 recommendations. If the authorities are listening, there goes your solutions. And special thanks to Simba Corp Aspire Center for hosting us tonight. This has been the Monday Report Town Hall session. My name is Trevor Mbija, and on behalf of the entire team that made this possible, thank you so much and have a good night.